Welcome to Build Out with Jim Kunkel, your go-to broadcast for learning more about business in the real world. Your host, Jim Kunkel, who is an accomplished professional in business development, sales, and marketing, and is a technical content creator along with being a rising influencer on LinkedIn. On Build Out, you'll get the latest information and knowledge from subject matter experts from across the globe. Okay, let's get this Build Out broadcast started. And here's your host, Jim Kunkel.
I'm Jim Kunkel, and welcome to an all-new episode of Build Out. My guest today is Jeremy Huckaby. Jeremy, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Jim. Glad to be here.
I was glad to have you. Jeremy, you and I have had a past broadcast. It was a number probably almost 2 years ago, it seems like, the last time we had a conversation.
It's been a while, so I'm definitely glad to catch up with you again, and always enjoy seeing your episodes on LinkedIn.
Oh, I appreciate that. Hey, Jeremy, before we would go into our conversation about the importance of passion in business, if you could provide a professional background on yourself.
Sure. No, I appreciate you asking. My whole background has been in coatings since I got out of college. I worked for Sherwin-Williams for about 13 years. And then I went to work for Spray Rock in the underground lining systems world in water and wastewater for about 5 years. And then, transitioned and went to work for a company called Duraflex doing resinous flooring systems for the past year, and had a unique opportunity come up recently. And now I've transitioned once again, and I'm working on the contracting side in the water and wastewater world for a company out of Lakeland, Florida called Engineered Spray Solutions. So my whole background's been in coatings, but it's kind of been more on the manufacturing side. So I'm really excited about this new opportunity to look at it from the contracting side. So that's a little bit about me and kind of where I've been. Yeah,
you and I go back at least over a decade as friends in the industry and working together on several things and opportunities through the Society of Protective Coatings. Jeremy, I've got a big question for you. Are you a coffee drinker?
Oh, absolutely. I got to have it every morning.
Do you have your coffee with you now?
I do.
All right. So the sponsor, Jeremy, of this episode is coffeebrandcoffee.com. And with Coffee Brand Coffee, you can get premium quality coffees and teas. In the episode description, and also posted as a comment to this episode, is a discount link for 5% off. And please support the episode. Please support the content that I provide on LinkedIn and other platforms. Greatly appreciated. Jeremy, if you could hold on 1 minute, I'm going to play a promotion from Coffee Brand Coffee. Let's talk about the power of a great cup or mug of coffee. Coffee drinking dates back to at least the 15th century from the Sufi monasteries of Yemen. And by the 16th century, the practice of brewing and drinking coffee spread to Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. Today, coffee is one of the most highly traded commodities, and after water, the most consumed global beverage. For many around the world, coffee helps start the day and provides a welcome physical and mental boost throughout the day. The official premium coffee of this broadcast comes from coffeebrandcoffee.com, who fresh roast coffee as orders come in. Please support this broadcast and my content by using the special build-out link to coffeebrandcoffee.com. Order some premium coffee and teas today and support Build Out at the same time. So again, take advantage of that discount link, save some money, buy some good quality premium coffees and teas, and support the broadcast. Jeremy, thank you for holding on that. Jeremy, you and I have, like I said, we've had a business relationship for a number of years and working in the coatings industry. The one thing that I have been super impressed with you is that you're a champion of passion and related to business, and you actually are promoting and doing content as well. I've seen some content that you put out there related to passion. You know, in the terminology of passion when it comes to business, what does that really mean?
Well, to me, passion and the word purpose are closely aligned. And I think, for business and for personal, it's something it's vital to really long-term success. And, what happens a lot from what I've seen is businesses try to be so many different things to so many different people that they lose that. And when you lose that, really, you kind of lose that momentum. So I think, to me, that's what I equate it to. Passion and purpose are closely linked. And when you have that, that's the foundation for you to build a successful career or a success in your life in general because you have that focus. I think, not just in the coatings industry, but in any industry, I think when you see the most successful companies, the ones that have sustained themselves year after year and continue to grow, even in hard times, are the companies that are focused. They know what they're doing. They stay on their mission. They don't try to jump into every new market that may come about because they know what they're good at. Just like us as individuals. I mean, there's certain things I'm good at, where others may not be, and vice versa. I mean, there's certain things you're probably good at that I'm not good at. So that's, again, what it means from my perspective. I know it can be different things to different people, but just from my experience and watching people in their careers and then just interacting with people in my personal life, I've come to that realization. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I'm a champion for it because I know that focus on your purpose really propels you forward in life, and you can ultimately reach the places you want to go and be the most fulfilled you can be because you're doing, what you're made to do. You're using your talents and abilities to the greatest extent, and that puts you, like I said, in a place for long-term success. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. The passion with purpose. And when we look at just for example, with the protective coatings industry that both you and I work in, there are amazing, passionate people in this industry and companies as well. And to your point, when you have that passion to improve not only your industry and your company, but also think of you're working on some very high value assets out there that are critical infrastructure to everyone's livelihoods, and also to maintaining environmental protection and just the flow of goods and services and other things that people need to live a daily life. Passion with purpose is so important. And how do you identify within yourself what level of passion you might have?
Well, I think it goes back, like I said, just identifying your purpose first. And
Mm-hmm.
the way I would say simply to do that is just to think about, what do you enjoy doing? What are you good at? Where your talents and abilities lie? It's the same for an individual as it is for a company. And I think you start with that assessment, and that takes time. You gotta separate yourself from the busyness of your day and really sit and think about not only what are you good at and what do you enjoy doing, but where do you want to go? I mean, what are your goals? And you got to keep those goals in front of you all the time in order to make sure you stay on track. So I think that's where it really starts, is really understanding yourself and not just trying to do something that somebody else is doing because it looks fun, or it looks like, hey, they're making a lot of money at it, or they're getting a whole lot of likes or a whole lot of social media credibility. They're building a brand, so I should do the same thing. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Again, I go back to the companies, like you said, the industry. There's a whole lot of great people in the protective coatings industry, and that's why I say companies want to say that they're great at everything, but we got to step back and realize that's not the case. That's why there's so many great companies. And yeah, there's people that I compete against every single day, but they're good at some things I'm not, just like certain companies. So, I mean, I look at it, yeah, they're competitors, but at the same time, there's so many opportunities out there that we all have ways we can help people. We just got to have the conversations to get plugged into that point where we're at the stage to be able to help the people that we can help the most. So I think that's where it starts, is understanding yourself first, and then going out and having those conversations and bringing some validation to that, and seeing where you can get plugged in, as opposed to going out there and just saying, hey, I'm going to go get a job to get a job. Yeah, you may have to start there, but at the same time, you've got to keep building upon yourself to be able to understand, where that purpose comes from. And everybody's got one. It's just a matter of you sitting down, taking an inventory, and then going out and having conversations with people and trying to get yourself plugged in to that right spot.
Very good points. Very good points there. When I also, too, another aspect of passion that I always equate to is that, passion is contagious. If you have a passionate leader, if you have a passionate manager, or just an individual on your team, they can really help elevate the business. They can really help motivate others, and they can actually benefit the business because their passion transcends also to outside to customers, clients, or other individuals and professionals within an industry or within the community itself. When you have someone who is, if you're a business leader and you have someone on your team that is very passionate about their job, their role, their purpose, and what they do, how would you as a leader or a manager, how do you kind of let's say not capture that, but how do you use that to turn it into that contagious and spread it through your company?
Well, I think you've got to be going to get feedback, continually, whether it's your, weekly meetings, monthly meetings. I think as a leader, you've got to be seeking that feedback and allowing team members the opportunity to voice that. Taking time when you sit down and do a review with people that you lead to ask them, what do you see that's going on in the business? What do is there opportunities you see that we can improve? Let's talk about it. Now, that doesn't always mean that you're going to implement something that somebody brings to the table, but in order to really grow that passion and really, solidify that person as a team member, you got to solicit the feedback. It's no different than customers. I mean, you're always trying to, work with customers to build long-term relationships, and you've got to be in that continuous cycle of improvement. And that starts with feedback. So I think it goes, like you just said, I mean, it's not just within the business itself, it's also with the marketplace. And I think you could take it even a step further and say, from an individual perspective, that daily continuous improvement to get better, even a small percentage, even that 1% every single day, so that you can constantly be growing, constantly be bringing value, to the marketplace or to your company, to your customers individually.
Yeah, and with the like you're talking about with the really showing that and the passion side and the purpose side, when I look at good businesses out there, their company culture is such an important element of really recruitment, promotion, but also for internal structure, maintaining that internal structure. We came out of the pandemic. What they termed the Great Resignation. There was a lot of people changing positions. I changed positions. You changed positions. So now you have a different type of makeup in different industries where you have people working in different capacities than what they were prior to the pandemic. So the business culture is such an important thing. When you look at business culture, what recommendations would you have for someone listening who, maybe has a challenging business culture and ways that they can interject, passion and the purpose into the culture of the company? What would you recommend?
Well, I think first of all, you got to take a step back and you got to say, does what I believe in align with what the company believes in? If there's not alignment there, then quite honestly, I think you need to find a new place to go, because that's going to be hard to overcome. I mean, I'm sure there's people that have overcome it, so I'm not going to never say never, but I think it's going to create quite the challenge. But again, I think you got to go back and start with, with what you want to do, what you're good at, where your goals are. Can you get to reach your ultimate goals and grow within that position you're in? You mentioned the Great Resignation. The other term that's really being talked about a lot here recently is quiet quitting. And that's really saddening to hear that's the case with a lot of people. And that's where I'm really passionate about, hey, we need to get you plugged into your purpose. There's no reason to be at a job and be miserable every day. There's opportunities out there in all types of industries, not just protective coatings. So you can plug yourself in to a place that's going to be a better fit for you. It's just going to take some time and some thought and some conversations. But again, that's what's great about LinkedIn, especially, is you have a place where you can have conversations with people. You can connect with people and talk about it. It's not just about selling. LinkedIn, to me, the most important thing is the conversation piece. Having that first, seeing what people are out there, what they're doing, seeing how that aligns with you, and seeing where you can plug yourself in ultimately to a career path that's going to bring you fulfillment. So you don't have to feel like you've got to resign or you've got to, quietly just quit and just do the bare minimum. You're plugged into that purpose, and it goes back to that passion. And then you create that within an organization, and who knows, you may be the cog that in that wheel that generates greater growth for that organization over the long term because you're plugged into it. So people just need to understand that you can have a profound impact on a company, even a larger company, if you're plugged into the right place. It's just a matter of you finding that right place.
Yeah, that very good. What you really provided there is solid in a couple areas. First off, when you look at a platform like LinkedIn, utilize that as a professional networking opportunity. It's not always just about marketing and selling and closing deals and things like that, but also too, it's outreach to other professionals that are within your industry to get into conversation and talk about issues and topics that are challenging. And then also too, it's a good opportunity for you to maybe benchmark ideas that you have or get recommendations or even sometimes coaching from others who might have been in the similar situation. When I look back at when I first got involved in the coatings industry, I worked for a steel fabricator in the Pittsburgh market, and I'm still in the Pittsburgh market, and got involved with the powder coating side. And what was amazing for me was when I started interacting more with the powder coaters and the applicators, and then also too in the management side, I really got a sense of pride of what they were doing when they were putting out quality product. And the other thing too, what I found amazing was if there was any type of quality control issues, the seriousness of that to do corrective actions and to do better. And it was amazing to see that, where you would have at all stages of really concern about, we need to do better, we need to be better. And then from that, do much better, and that open up greater opportunity. As I got involved with the Society for Protective Coatings, that's really where I started to have my eyes opened up with the passion of the members, the companies, the other organizations we worked with, the educators, the students, the craft workers, and just to see the level of passion in this global industry we call protective coatings. It was intoxicating, but it's an industry that, I'll be honest, I didn't grow up and say I'm going to work in coatings or that's the career I want to have. But now that I'm in this career, I love it, and I would never leave it for $100 million, maybe $200 million, but not $100 million. And working with individuals like yourself, seeing the passion, and like you say, passion with purpose, it's so important. And I think really when we look at our industry, down the road, it's going to be such a pivotal, because we talk a lot about here infrastructure here on the surface of the planet. The next 100, 200 years, I'm sure we're going to be a little further out into the universe. And guess what? There's going to be infrastructure there that's going to need to be taken care of. And so, as a leader, I think if you can challenge any passion that might be on a team, or if you have passion, that's a good way to make change happen and change for good. And that can be very contagious as well. When you mentor younger professionals, how do you approach the subject of the passion and the purpose with them?
I think it goes back to just them understanding, what they're good at, where their talents and abilities lie. Everybody's got a little bit different skill set to bring to it. So I think it starts there, and just searching companies, seeing what companies are out there. What are they all about? Do they align with the vision you have? Do they align with your core beliefs? If so, that's worth pursuing, and talking with people, even if there's not that immediate job opening. I think for people in my generation, I'm about to be 42. Coming up through college, it was about, hey, get your resume out there, go apply for these jobs, things of that nature. But I think you've got to approach your career in a different way now. I think you've got to look at it, like I just said, you've got to look at the company, do the research, see what they're about, employees, how do they help you grow? Are they going to help you or be a vehicle for you to get to your ultimate goals that you want in your career, your stage you want to get to? And as opposed to just firing off a resume to a job opening, not doing all that research. So that's usually the advice I give to younger people. The other thing too is, look, don't pass up the coatings industry, because like you said, there's so many different things and so many different companies. And together we can work as a group in the coatings industry to really help revitalize the infrastructure across the world, and particularly in this nation, in the U.S., because there's a big challenge. I mean, we see what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi, for example, things of that nature, where we've got to work together. Yes, we're competitors, but there is so much opportunity that not one company can tackle it in a given space. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the coating side of it, or if you're talking about more mechanical when it comes to infrastructure. There's plenty of opportunity, and we just have to work together. And that's the beauty of it. Like I said, there's plenty for young professionals to come into this industry and be able to really make a huge impact at the end of the day, not just work a job, but actually help reshape and revitalize the infrastructure that we all know is critical. And a lot of times we take for granted, when we turn that faucet on, that there's water going to come out. So that's the encouragement I try to give. There's plenty of opportunity to make a real impact in this world with your career. You just got to take a little time to think about it, to ask some questions, to do some research. And that can be challenging. I get it. We're all distracted. We're all, we all got, social media. We've got news coming at us. You got your phone dinging at you constantly all day long. You just have to be intentional. You have to be intentional to take those quiet moments and sit down and really think about what your goals are. Where do you want to go? You've heard me say that a few times now since we started this conversation, but I think it's critical. You got to reiterate that. And once you get it established, you've got to stay in that cadence of reviewing and saying, where am I? Am I on the right path? Is this where I need to be? Or am I still kind of not aligned with, what I'm really good at, or where my goals, are versus where I am now? So that's really my approach when I talk to people that are coming out of college, or that are new to the industry, is really just, again, aligning with your purpose, your goals, figuring that out first, and then getting to the specific job you're going to be in.
Yeah, you're almost in a way, mapping out or planning out in the aspect of the passion that you have for the career opportunity you're looking at, but also to mapping out and planning out the purpose. As you had mentioned, there's so many opportunities. They're mostly critical because of the infrastructure work that many companies, contractors, and suppliers work towards or work with related to infrastructure. So, find that right mentor, but also to kind of plan that out and then incorporate that passion with purpose, and good things should flow your way. And so that's great advice for young adults and young professionals who are really considering or being recruited in some cases into our industry. Jeremy, what a great conversation. In closing out our episode here, is there anything that we did not talk about that you would want to leave with the viewers?
No, I mean, I think we really touched on it. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak about it. I think, like I said, so many times we're just so busy, and we think just checking off our to-do list every day that we think we're really making a big impact. We miss the opportunity of purpose. And like I said, before, that's what drives your passion, and that passion gives you the drive to do the work that's necessary. Because let's face it, there's a lot of challenges before us, particularly in the coatings industry, for example. But there's that challenge in every industry to keep growing, to keep getting better every single day. And it's just going to take hard work. There's no such thing as shortcuts to that. Success is requires that hard work deposit every single day. You got to pay the rent, as some people say, every single day. And you got to have that passion. If it's just a job, then we get back to that, what we talked about previously with the great resignation or the quiet quitting, that happens when people are just completely disavowed from any purpose. So no, I think we've really touched on it. And again, I just encourage people to take the time and really figure that piece out, because once you do, it'll make your work days so much more enjoyable. And again, that old saying goes, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That saying is very true.
Yeah, so true, so true. So, Jeremy, how can people get in contact with you, follow you on social media, maybe check out some of the videos and posts that you do on Passion with Purpose?
Yeah, you can reach me on LinkedIn. It's just Jeremy Huckaby. I'm on LinkedIn. You can email me directly. My personal email is je.huckaby@outlook.com. So feel free to reach out to me there anytime. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Always glad to connect and have a conversation with people. And again, there's probably ways you might be able to help me out and I might be able to help you out. So it's definitely a win-win opportunity. And I always enjoy those connections.
Yeah, my interactions with Jeremy have always been win-win, and I encourage everyone to give him a follow, and also to feel free to reach out to him on this topic or other topics. Jeremy's a very knowledgeable person, both in the technology utilized in the coatings industry, but also too when it comes to the topic that we just covered on this episode. So next Wednesday at noon Eastern, we'll have a all new episode. I encourage everyone to forward or share this, like this episode, and also to make sure that you just check back onto my LinkedIn profile or other social media platforms on upcoming broadcasts that I will have. Thank you, everybody. And Jeremy, have a great day.
Enjoy it, Jim. Thanks again for the time.
I hope you found value with today's Build Out broadcast. Make sure you connect with Jim on LinkedIn and subscribe to his YouTube channel. This way you'll be notified on new live streams and when new content is released. Please give today's broadcast a like and share with your connections and colleagues. Thanks for watching, and please visit buildoutproductions.com for additional content and to join the mailing list so you can keep updated on other streams and quality content from the creators on the Build Out Productions team.